With WWE interested in bringing back Braun Strowman and CM Punk boosting ticket sales for AEW, this is Wrestling Up. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for July 23rd. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Up and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Daniel Bryan has reportedly signed a deal with AEW that could see him debut on September 22nd. Bodyslam.net broke that story and is now noted when talks between Bryan and AEW began. I was told that internally it was first discussed to bring him in occurred back in May following his contract expiring with WWE. However, no discussion or negotiations were happening at that time. It was purely conjecture then. Talks and negotiations between the two sides did not actually begin until sometime over the last couple of weeks, with Andrew Zarian reporting that WWE told developers not to include Daniel Bryan in WWE 2K22. We'll have to wait for his debut in the company. On the Battleground podcast, AEW's Mark Henry touched on how the company can improve, stating media outreach and giving back to the community are areas to work on. We have to do more of this, marketing and creating relationships with the media, not just the big media, but the grassroots media podcast companies that are interesting in pro wrestling, not only to market, but just fans and community involvement. We will be reaching out to people who are terminally ill, as I will today on Twitter after I get through talking to you guys. We're going to go to the Boys and Girls Club in the communities that we go to, the Special Olympics, Wounded Warriors, and different things that deal with our military. There's something coming up in Jacksonville where the police officers that train the canines, we're going to go and pick up those guys. So it's like we're going to touch everything we can in the communities we go to let people know we're not just trying to take, we're trying to give as well. Following his release from WWE, Big Cass debuted in Impact Wrestling as Morrissey. Being in great shape now, he spoke on Sean Waltman's podcast about his current contract. I'm looking forward to more matches with Eddie Edwards and looking forward to the rest of my time with Impact, however long that might be. I don't know how long it might be. That's on them and that's on me. Right now I'm very happy being in Impact. They have great talent, a great locker room. Everybody is awesome and treated well. It's a really great place to be. I really enjoy going to work. I'm signed with Impact until Bound for Glory in October. Things could change tomorrow. We'll see. We're kind of going on a feel basis. They brought me in and I'm not stupid. I understand I'm a high risk because they don't know what they're getting. We've gone taping by taping and they were like, well, we'll sign you up for Bound for Glory, and that was cool with me because I'm not interested in signing anything long term right now. It worked out perfectly. I'm there until October for now. While Morrissey is undefeated in Impact, we'll have to see if Eddie Edwards can take him down. With Ric Flair being a 16-time world champion under the WWE banner, Charlotte is seemingly looking to break that record. As she recently lost the Raw Women's title, the Wrestling Observer said WWE has cut down her overall title reigns from 13 to 8. Charlotte beat Rhea Ripley to win the Raw Women's title, but then lost it the next night to Nikki ASH, cashing in her briefcase. It accomplished two purposes, getting the title on ASH with the cash-in on Raw, after Flair added another title reign for the chase to 17. However, with NXT belts no longer being counted, her apparent 13th singles world title win is now only her 8th. Speaking to the North State Journal, Triple H addressed WWE's record low ratings on Monday Night Raw, stating it never is one thing. We see this as a moment in time to shift everything. I think you'll see it in just the layout of everything, the set designs, the way it's presented. There's a greater emphasis on utilizing these spaces that we have in the TV aspect of it while still engaging the fans. A lot of that comes from the time we had to experiment inside the Thunderdome. It could take a lot of work to improve the product of Raw. Bringing back Goldberg is a short-term solution to this problem, as they need to create a big enough star to draw in a consistently larger audience. Randy Orton has not been seen on TV for a while, with his tag team partner Matt Riddle really hoping he can make his return soon. Recently, Orton was put on the disabled inactive list during that period of being sidelined. As it was noted by Fightful, there are said to be no issues between Orton and the company, and the hope is from all sides that he'll be back in time for the August 2nd episode of Raw. Now that John Cena is back in WWE, WrestleTix has put up a chart online showing that the franchise player has boosted ticket sales for the company. Of course, it was only around 100 tickets, still each show has seen an uptick in sales. Cena is set to face Roman Reigns for the Universal title at SummerSlam, which should make for a classic match. With Snake Eyes out in theaters, former WWE star Mojo Rawley was able to land a role in that film. Talking to Fightful, he revealed WWE's talent relations department called him to gauge his interest in doing a movie. So dude, I was just finishing up a workout and I got a call from talent relations and they pretty much told me that I was requested for Snake Eyes and they were trying to see if my schedule was open to do it. I was like, forget my schedule. Whatever I've booked, we're throwing out the window. Let's rock, baby. I was so excited about it. I don't remember exactly how long before we filmed that I found out, but it was not a long time. Maybe a week or two. I didn't have a script or any kind of heads up on what I was going to be doing in the movie. It was pretty much, do you want to be in it? I was like, yes, whatever it is, I'm in. Let's check this out. I'm so excited about it. We'll handle it from there. So I kind of went in blind, but man, I tell you what they put together was unbelievable. The film itself is going to be incredible. Summer blockbuster. It's going to be huge. I'm very excited about my contributions to the film, that's for sure. With this role hopefully being successful, we'll have to see if Rawley can land more roles in movies going forward. AEW has made waves with reports of signing the likes of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Now it's been noted by Ringside News that they have some events coming up, saying we've been hearing a couple special AEW events in the pipeline. The current thinking is that they'll finally get to the UK possibly in November, but the world is always changing. Also, the United Center is looking very likely. Speaking of Punk, the United Center would be a great place for him to debut, or at the very least appear, as we wait for reports of Punk putting pen to paper on his deal with AEW. With CM Punk rumored to be appearing at AEW's All Out event on September 5th, the Wrestling Observer newsletter has reported regarding the secondary market, there are only two shows that are what we'd call hot tickets. All Out on 9/5 in Chicago has a $141 get-in price, so the CM Punk rumors have upped ticket prices about 18% across the board. It was also noted that the get-in price for the Arthur Ashe Stadium show is only $43, despite reports of Daniel Bryan's debut. Still, that show has over 17,000 tickets to sell. Staying on the topic of CM Punk, the Wrestling Observer noted the internal feeling of WWE regarding his debut for AEW. A WWE source has said that internally the belief is that Punk is signed with AEW. There are a number of things going on behind the scenes that would indicate that, but nobody in AEW has confirmed it, and of course they won't until the decision is made for them to go public with something of that magnitude. Following the shocking release of Braun Strowman from WWE, there are now reports that the company has had a change of heart given AEW is making big moves to sign the likes of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. With it said on the Wrestling Observer, there is interest in bringing Strowman back, especially after recent AEW signings. With AEW's Mark Henry saying he will pull for Strowman to debut in the company, WWE is probably etching in plans to bring the monster among men back. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.